and I don't know if mainstream media has even used these words, but Donald Trump was accused by a woman who says at 13 or 14 years old, she was sexually abused by him.
Yeah.
And she was
Right.
interviewed by the FBI, not once, not twice, but 4 times. That is unusual. I'm not a law enforcement officer. Katie is the lawyer here, but it seems unusual if there's nothing to it. I go back to 2010 when Jeffrey Epstein gave a deposition. This is before Donald Trump was in politics. And he was asked point blank, have you ever been in the same room with Donald Trump and underage girls? And he took the fifth. He would not answer that question. This was not about the president of the United States or even a presidential candidate. Donald Trump was just a guy on TV, and he still wouldn't answer that question. There are open questions about Donald Trump and underage girls and Jeffrey Epstein, which we don't know the answers to. And the person who was in the best position to find that out, not once, but twice, was Pamela Jo Bondi, because she was the attorney general of the state of Florida, where Donald Trump resides and where Jeffrey Epstein resided. And she was then the head of the Department of Justice, alleged leader of the Department of Justice, and said she had the files on her desk. And then all of a sudden she didn't.
Yeah. And Katie, you've been you filed a lawsuit in this. You filed legal action in this to get to the bottom of this. And we all applaud Katie for that. But I mean, you make a great point about, Joy made great points, watched it too. But I mean, Bill and Hillary Clinton are hauled in to testify, but not Donald and Melania Trump. I mean, I'm sorry, but like when the Democrats take over oversight, that needs to be the first thing that gets, sent over to the White House by the House Oversight Committee, I guess, under Robert Garcia's leadership.
So, Joy, may I address your issue that you just raised?
Please, ma'am,
well,
please.
I'm going to refer to page 27 of my 37-page motion for preliminary injunction that I just filed today in my lawsuit against Todd Blanche. And number 3 of the 5 areas that I am asking the federal judge in my lawsuit, I'm asking them to hurry up. I'm like, hurry up. Yeah. This is my preliminary injunction. There are 5 areas that are egregious, on their face, blatant violations of the Epstein Files Transparency Act, and time is of the essence to fix these things. I don't want to wait till the end result of my case. I'm allowed to come early. And so the judge has, breaking news, entered an order setting for hearing on June 16th. My motion for preliminary injunction. Oh. They are saying the DOJ must respond by June 5th, which is next week, Friday. Great. And then we can reply to what they say by June 8th for this hearing on June 16th. But Joy, number 3 of my preliminary injunction motion, Blanche has violated the act by improperly withholding materials implicating Donald Trump. And it references the 4 FBI interviews that were done of the victim of Donald Trump, who is alleged that she was sexually assaulted and physically abused by him when she was 13 years old. And those 302s, as they are called, those FBI interviews of the 4 different times they spoke with this girl, those were eventually released. One came out in December of 2025. The other 3 only came out after there was a big fuss by media saying, where are they? But what we have noticed is the federal government turned over the interview notes by the FBI to Ghislaine Maxwell's defense team back in 2021. And yet, where is it in the Epstein files? Why aren't you turning over those interview notes to the American people? Why aren't you turning them over to Katie Phang so I can find out more information? So that's one of the 5 areas that I have told this judge, please, sir, I'd like to be able to get this information sooner than later. And that will be a part of what is heard on June 16th in my preliminary injunction motion.
Can I just say really quickly before I throw it back to y'all? And the question I would add to that, and congratulations and kudos to our wonderful Katie Phang, who is taking aggressive individual action to try to force some clarity for these victims. But what would be so dangerous that Pam Bondi would feel she needed to be in the room in which we plan wars? What is so dangerous in those files to Donald Trump or to the presidency that it had to be suppressed? And I think we have to think about it. Knowing Jeffrey Epstein is something we've all known about for a long time. The fact that Donald Trump was friends with Jeffrey Epstein, that doesn't seem like it's egregious enough. The fact that he's mentioned more times than Jesus was in the Bible, it's bad, but is that so dangerous? And the only things that one could think about that could really endanger Trump is that either he or people close to him or others in the administration actually engaged in the kind of conduct Jeffrey Epstein did. That's the only thing I could think of that Pam Bondi, thinking like a Pam Bondi, would find so dangerous if it became public and if it became known to the public. And she, because she was acting as sort of as his campaign surrogate, was trying to derail something bad, like something really bad. And you know what's really bad? Sexually abusing a 13-year-old child. And if that happened, the American people have a right to know that that is what their president engaged in.
Well, Jim, can I really quickly say why this is so important? And I'm glad because people forget. But I've said this, and it's no longer just me saying it. Ro Khanna admitted it. Hillary Clinton said it. You had Democrats say it. This is the biggest political cover-up in modern history.
Yes.
And the person behind this cover-up was the former Attorney General, Pam Bondi. Because I want to remind people, last April, Pam Bondi, according to the Wall Street Journal, told Donald Trump that his name was all over the Epstein files. Donald Trump then lied to the American public. He was asked, I believe, by a CBS reporter, is your name in the, he goes, no, the name's not there. I'm perfectly fine. I'm cleared. And then we also found out that Pam Bondi instructed FBI agents to work 48-hour shifts to, I don't know, not investigate, not find out who's part of this Epstein class, but to stay pretty much locked up, holed up in a room where they combed through the Epstein files and they had one job, is to remove Donald Trump's name from the Epstein files. Then we saw Todd Blanche, folks, I tried to bring the receipts. Maureen Comey is the prosecutor. Maureen Comey should go and talk to Ghislaine Maxwell. What happened? Maureen Comey gets fired. A week later, Todd Blanche, as Assistant Attorney General, leaves D.C. The Assistant Attorney General never leaves D.C., goes to Florida, talks to Ghislaine Maxwell for 2 days. Less than a week later, Ghislaine Maxwell gets a once-in-a-lifetime transfer that nobody with her felony ever gets. And now she's in Club Fed, as we say in Texas, getting pampered. And who's the person who directed the head of Bureau of Prisons to give her a once-in-a-lifetime, remarkable, magical transfer? Ghislaine Maxwell. And both times Donald Trump has been asked on camera, are you going to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell? He hasn't said no. And then most recently, I think it was last month, you heard House Republicans say, we might be open to pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell if she could provide us information. Jim, Katie, Joy, this is a cover-up, and she's behind it, and she cannot run away from it. I will not let her. I will let Pam Bondi throw Todd Blanche under the bus, and then I'm going to push her into the cement mixer myself, figuratively.
Figuratively. Well, I'm starting to think that's why Trump wanted the Qatari plane so much as a getaway car for when he leaves office. It might not be parked at the museum and library. It might be flown to another country.
But Jim, think about it. The national security implications of blackmailable information that foreign governments could use against Donald Trump, knowing that Israel likely did use blackmail information against Bill Clinton, attempting to coerce him to conduct war-like policies that they wanted. They didn't, and also to get a spy who had helped Israel get nuclear information that was that they were not entitled to. They wanted him released, Jonathan Pollard, who's now running for the Knesset, I believe, in Israel. And so you know that this is something they do. And we also know Jeffrey Epstein had national security ties. Apparently, there was this language of he belongs to national security. And so the question becomes, as we are in a war with Iran that no previous president was willing to do, but that Bibi Netanyahu has been goading presidents to do for 30 years, we need to know if the president of the United States is blackmailable by a foreign government that wants us to use our troops, our munitions, waste our precious lives and our precious money and our munitions in a war with Iran that they want and we don't want, and it is not in our interest. We need to know if Donald Trump is blackmailable. It's important.
Wait, and I would like to know, Joy, did you must have been writing my preliminary injunction motion. The fourth area of the 5 is the fact that Todd Blanche refused to translate documents in foreign languages. He claimed that it was not practicable to do so. And as a result, we've never seen any documents that were in foreign languages, and they have not been released. But we know that Epstein ran an international sex trafficking ring. And compromat is by definition a foreign word. But compromat is not just in English. Compromat, compromised, could be in any language. So why in the actual hell are we hiding that information from the American people as well and shielding co-conspirators and other perpetrators of horrific sex crimes against children? Why? Because maybe if they're exposed, they can drop a dime on people like Trump and others. So it's all part and parcel of what Waj speaks of. And somebody, Jim, refresh my recollection here. But Situation Room, you can't bring in electronic devices, right? You can't bring in stuff that could transfer classified or other national security information that could be poached by people that could spy and all this other stuff, right?
Well, yeah, in theory, yes, but I mean, they have proven that anything goes with this
Well,
administration.
true.
So, I mean, they could be, just recording on their iPhones in there for all we know right now, and having it, transcribed by ChatGPT.
Or
But I think
Signal.
this is
Could be a Signal
the
chat.
Signal chats and
Put it
so
in
on.
there.
Exactly.
Or even
But
your
I
Apple
think
Watch.
this is a big reason why Donald Trump and his people are so deathly afraid of these midterms. Well, but in the meantime, want to thank all of you for supporting independent media. Anything that you can do to support independent media, subscribe, like, share this episode. If you're on Substack and you're a paid subscriber, thank you so much. It means the world to us. It means that we can continue to do these kinds of shows. Earlier today, we did a combined show with Joy Reid and Katie Phang and Wajahat Ali. I started calling it The Crew. We may not call it that forever, but that's what we're calling it right now, or I'm calling it right now. My team helps put that on the air. So I can't just push all the buttons by myself. I just knocked into my microphone. See, I can't do these things by myself. So when you support us by subscribing and becoming a paid subscriber, and if you help us on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube and you support us in that way, all of those things definitely help us in the world of independent media. And we thank you so much when you do that. But in the meantime, hope everybody has a great weekend. Still reporting from Washington, I'm Jim Acosta. I'll see you next time.